beat the Dragon Lord, and green is absolutely go, go, go in that specific stat.
So certainly a ways to go, and we are underway. Our 4 runners getting going here. They're going to get their last instructions here from the king. They're going to open the 3 chests in the throne room. One of the treasure chests will have a magic key to get out. And the other 2, let's see here. We've got some big bucks to start, as well as a cursed belt that can be sold for some money as well. And there's that obligatory magic key. Now, no spells to be utilized, as there's no hit points, or at least very few. So they're going to hang on to the gold. They're going to hope that maybe there is a town right outside of the castle, but it looks like our runners, for the most part, are going to save that money and face the king, as Braxis running into a wolf, a low to mid-level enemy, and it has Dragon Lord breath. Oh no, that is an insta-kill there on Braxis. That Dragon Lord 2 breath has anywhere from 65 to 72 hit points of damage. Now, as a point of clarification, this is 2 separate one-on-one matchups. You have Sylverfyre taking on Emptyeye, and you have Braxis taking on Cyberdark86. And we see a Ghost with Hurtmore. Ghost's a fairly early-level enemy, and with them casting Hurtmore, that'll do in the 30 to 40-ish damage range. That's another pretty well insta-kill, even with the 25 hit points. And it doesn't seem like there's a town anywhere in sight here.
So this looks like it's a little hard start. Every monster seems to be running away or tougher than they... Ooh, but Braxis just found a red slime, so that's a good first enemy.
Yep, and able to be one shot. Meanwhile, Sylverfyre and Emptyeye finding a cave and looking to nope on out of it. And a pair of resets here on Cyberdark and Emptyeye's sides, as Sylverfyre, they run into a ghost, but they were out of resources, and back to the start goes Sylverfyre. And chat confirming that cave to the right of Tangential Castle is the southern end of the swamp cave. So there is something on the other side, but our runners having a little trouble navigating to where it is. And, well, got a little path here to the south as Sylverfyre making their way through and into a warlock that, causes a bit of trouble there. Another reset here for Cyberdark. Our runners, at least on, looks like Emptyeye and Cyberdark side, trying to hold on to that gold, hoping that there's a town nearby, able to perhaps find a weapon to be able to get off the ground here with such low strength, find some sort of armor, because they are rather defenseless, as you can see by the numbers, being essentially naked as a jaybird. So Brax, now taking an attempt at the swamp cave, is able to get away from a Druin, but the Druin Lord says no. With sleep as well. And back he goes.
So right now it just looks like, with the red slime, we are getting level 2 on Sylverfyre. So let's see, we've got power of 1, hit power, and...
Well, the MP was decent. Yeah, 1, 0, 1, and 10 for the stats. No agility, 1 hit point, 10 magic points. And once they take a death and replenish, that spell of sleep is going to be very handy to potentially put out, as Tilo, our restreamer here, noting in chat. That'd be great for those ghosts, as they won't really be able to go and cast Hurtmore. And Brax going after a scorpion, perhaps a little overzealous with the low strength, but that'll be another fairly decent enemy to try to tackle once the sleep spell is acquired at level 2.
Sylverfyre seem to find and pick up their um, enemies and being able to just kill them a little bit out of a time. So right now they have a slight lead.
Yeah, nothing really to do there with the ghost except kind of flail at it. And in this case, well, they go back to the start. They take the death, but in the process, getting those 10 MP, that's 5 castings of sleep. That can certainly help get them to level 3 in a fairly expedient fashion. Oh, wow. And Cyberdark finding a rather nasty combination of sleep and standard dragon fire on the magician's side.
Having sleep at level 2 is definitely going to help with all these low monsters having all the skills.
Yeah, the red slime casting stop spell, but that's fairly inconsequential. And now Sylverfyre going to take a crack at heading through the swamp cave to see what's on the other side. For all we know, on the other side of that cave could be the back end of Garanham, which could lead to 3 more treasure chests as well as a shop. But not going to find out this time as the Druid Lord, well, using fire and attack to take Sylverfyre out in 2 shots, and the Spectre's also being troublesome in the cave as well. And Smashy with a note in chat that the Druid Lord's rather resistant to the spell of sleep. On average, they have a 15 out of 16 resistance to the spell of sleep. So if you're going to try to put him to sleep, you've got roughly a 6% chance of it happening. And double deaths over on Sylverfyre and Brax's side. And Emptyeye going to follow suit again. So a little bit of a challenge here in the early going. Sylverfyre, if they're able to take the ghost out here, and of course, as soon as I say that, the ghost wakes up and casts Hurt More. And yes, the numbers next to the runners' names are the I'm going to call them approximate death counts because the runners have been falling to the enemies at such a rapid rate that it's kind of hard to keep count at this point. Cyberdark in an area here with a Droll Magi, a nice mid to upper level enemy, able to get away, but the Warlock is going to create some problems and is going to get 2-shot, and back goes Cyberdark. So Emptyeye now falling to a ghost with Hurtmore. And this ghost looks to be casting Hurtmore quite a bit. 50, maybe 75% of the time. Oh, and Cyberdark running into an Axe Knight and is immediately sent back. So we've got a red slime taken out, and you see it there, 50% hurt more, 50% heal. We haven't even seen that. Thank you to our trackers for bringing up the ghost statistics. Kind of taking the guesswork out of it. That's a little bit of what our runners have to do is they see how much a particular spell is being cast, and they have to figure, man, is this coming up a lot, a little? And you see the magicians as well, 50% sleep, 25% of that fire breath. And wow, deaths on Cyberdark side taking immediate. Uh, as Emptyeye with a little bit of sarcastic humor putting lol up on the screen. As he had an excellent move, a critical hit that was dodged at the same time, the Kaishin Negata. Now, ghosts on average can dodge 4 out of 64 times, and I believe a critical hit is what, 1 out of every 32? So that critical dodge was probably about a 1 in 512 chance. So that was a rather challenging. But there is level 2 with the 1 power and 0 agility. Emptyeye loves it. Because even while racing, Emptyeye enjoys these 0 stack gains. That poor masochistic individual. Ooh, we got fire breathing Druins. Sylverfyre using the sleep spell to run away from the Druin. And I think is going back to looking for more red slimes, I think. Emptyeye looking for the Scorpion and finding its big brother, the Rogue Scorpion, with Hurtmore. So Urson, when you're dealing with a rough seed in the beginning like this, what's going through your mind at this point, especially in a race scenario here?
Well, my case, I feel like I'm always behind, but so you always feel slightly behind, like somebody got ahead of you, and you're just trying to find the trick to just get there. Um, so
Well, hopefully that trick coming here with level 3 with these stat gains of 5 strength, 1 agility, 2 hit points, and 2 magic points. Not great, but at least enough to be able to punch some of those enemies a little bit more. It might make those battles with the ghosts a little bit easier. I mean, at this point now, with 14 strength, you can hit a ghost for anywhere between 2 to 5 at a time. So on average, you're going to hit them in 2 shots. And you can see there, able to take out the ghost. So as long as things are on your side, you can certainly handle that. Now the Scorpion, he's going to give it or they're going to give it a go here. Hitting on average for 1 to 3. But this would be a rather high risk, high reward move for Sylverfyre, as this will get them to level 4. Brax, meanwhile, realizing that 9 is a little too ambitious for a Scorpion with just the 9 attack.
and it looks like Silverfire did get the next level. So 2, 11, 17, and 1, and a new spell of
Radiant. Well, they'll be able to light their way through that cave, although the swamp cave probably the easiest of those to navigate. But now that makes the Scorpion a little bit easier to take out, averaging 2 to 4 per attack. So on average, only a 5-round battle with the Scorpion.
and Braxis is using sleep to get the ghost, and it looks like he got him. So he's going to be up to 15 experience and starting to make his way to level 3.
Exactly. 17, the target number, and with minimal resources, getting back attacked by the Scorpion, that's going to send Brax back. Cyberdark, meanwhile, is pacing around the castle area, trying to find something to take out. I don't believe that he has found the red slimes as of yet, and initially was resetting to hold on to that gold, but I think has given up on the exploration of finding a town, as that seems to be as findable as a desert oasis there. Maybe he thinks that the scorpions and ghosts are gonna be his best bet. I'm not sure. Nice critical hit on Sylverfyre's side, and Emptyeye, meanwhile, opting to run away from the scorpions as 9 attack just not gonna be enough to really inflict anything on them.
Looks like Braxis is trying to go across swamp, and it looks like he's the first one across. And there is a cave. So let's see what the two caves on screen.
And noted from chat, and I saw it as well on Sill's side, the scorpions also with heal more. And wow, Brax finding a Drakey on the other side, and Drakey has sleep. These early enemies are beyond a challenge here, but the Drakey's going to be enough to get Brax up to level 3. And we have the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight Cave on Brax's side, a free treasure chest that contains a torch. Well, he'll be able to light the way in that other cave that's just to the northeast. Will the magician let us find out what it is? Able to let the run away, and oh no! Brax put on the cursed belt. That is going to keep him from getting to Tanager Castle, and he's going to have to reset. Oh, and that's essentially hitting the reset button and starting from scratch. So the last 17 minutes and change of progress lost. Oh my gosh. And our restreamer Tilo Tilo noting in chat that at least Brax knows that there are red slimes, and that's going to be the way to go. And I think he's just going to go right back in and charge over to that other side. So now both runners back essentially to level 1, and yeah, we're essentially on the bottom race here. Brax and Cyberdark, we're back to 0-0. Meanwhile, level 5 now for Syl, and some more hurt more. Oh, and getting stopped by the Stone Man on the way to that cave is Brax. And you see level 5 with the gaining of the stop spell. So that will be able to hold off some of those enemies like the scorpions from casting hurt and heal more, like stopping the ghosts from casting a hurt more. So there's a rather significant advantage to having that spell, and that's just going to keep the momentum going for Syl. Emptyeye, meanwhile, well, better hope that there aren't any lovable 0 stats in level 3. And Lorgon noting in chat, doesn't recall the last time that 20 minutes into a race that it was a 0-0 XP battle in a non-chaos seed. And a red slime now on Brax's side and getting slept and wrecked by a magician. No, able to hang on and get away. But those magicians being rather problematic. And I don't know, has Cyberdark encountered a red slime?
As far as I'm aware, he has not encountered a red slime yet.
I mean, that is. I mean, talk about the against all odds. I mean, where's Phil Collins when you need him? Little music joke out there for those. Yeah, I have dated references. What can I say? So Syl now has on 1 hit point gotten over to the other side of the swamp cave and has found the Stones of Sunlight cave that has a torch. And Fury SK, one of our two trackers here, along with Smashy, noting that the silent mic Ursine was solid by you, and that my reference deserved that. I would be hard pressed to disagree.
I'm sorry to be silent. I just didn't have anything else to say, obviously.
Well, as the great Willy Wonka said, for some things in life there are no words. So Cyberdark, this is interesting here. So perhaps looking to change the build to start things up here is looking perhaps at the statistics. Now, most of this is a good chance to explain this here. Something you may not have known from the original version of the game is that depending on the letters, the first 4 letters that you put into your name, it adds a bonus over the course of the seed to 2 of the 4 statistics: strength, agility, hit points, and magic points. A lot of the runners tend to favor the capital Z or Z, as that is one of quite a few that give a strength and hit point build bonus. But there are others who can tend to go off the beaten path and go with the strength, agility, sometimes uh, hit points and magic points, and on very, very rare occasions, agility and magic points. And a big hit point gain on level 6 for Syl.
And Cyberdark literally just sees a red slime for the first time.
Oh, wow.
And finally, somebody on the bottom is off level 1, and Braxis is on level 2 now.
So to give an idea, the lowercase f that Sylverfyre has, they're actually on a strength agility build. Now, the capital W that has been entered here by Cyberdark, that is an MP agility build. So, because you get those bonuses over the course of the seed, you tend to start with slightly higher strength and HP in this case. So, the opposite of what you're getting a bonus on throughout the seed, you'll start with that a little bit lower, the other 2 statistics a bit higher. So, Cyberdark hoping that with that bonus to strength, that will allow for a much better progression. And you can see here, Cyberdark getting more experience in the last 30 seconds than in the preceding 24 and a half minutes. So that benefit looks to be paying off here. Yeah, the other two runners, Emptyeye and Brax, with the capital Z and with the dash, both of those are strength HP builds as well. So, yes, for those of you just joining us here, this has been a rather challenging start to the seed, to say the least. Brax now heading through and is able to get through the swamp cave and runs into a stone man, tries to run away, gets a fire breath, and fails the second run. And back to the start he goes. Oh, and there's a ghost with hurt more, but you can see already just that quickly up to level 2 is Cyberdark, and like the Jack Jones song from the 1960s, the race is on.
Both Emptyeye and Sylverfyre just trying to get their experience and just working on to hopefully get to level 6, 7 to break the seed open a little bit.
Well, at this point, with the 28 strength that Sylverfyre has, they're able to, on average, take out the scorpions in 2 hits when it doesn't use heal more, of course. Averaging 5 to 10 hit points per attack, and the scorpions having anywhere from 10 to 13. So if Syl rolls high and the scorpion's HP rolls low, they could even one-shot a scorpion.
Yes, and they're just a couple more scorpions away from level 7.
Meanwhile, Emptyeye getting up to level 5 with the 5 power, 5 speed, 2 hit points, 0 magic points. He loves it. And apparently I missed it. What happened with Cyberdark here?
He was doing a scorpion, had down 11 hit points, and then it heal moored.
Oh no. Well, here's level 7 for Syl. 4, 6, 1, and 22. Still no additional spells. Up to 32 attack power, but well, Syl now gonna, I guess, make another break for it here and see what they can find. Now, with the agility much higher, the likelihood of running from some of the enemies a little bit better. And still going to give it a go here against the Druin. Oh, and Druins have heal more. And the fire breath, and that sends Syl back. Well, whomever of our runners is going to get to a record of 2-1, they sure are going to earn it.
That is for sure. This is not a seed I would want to run.
Well, I guess with the advancement that Syl has, I mean, it's hard to say whether any of our racers had asked for a reseed. If they did so, they would be sending a message to our restreamer Tilo Tilo. If need be, I guess we can keep that information a secret. But yes, especially, well, just to, I guess, clarify the rules, thanks to something that occurred earlier this evening. Yes, the asking of a reroll is meant to be essentially done in secret, so that way no information is being given to your opponent. As far as usually, if you're asking for a reseed and somebody says, "Hey, do you want a reseed?" and you're doing well, you're going to be like, "No, I don't want a reseed. Are you kidding me?" And that gives information to both runners that one is doing well and one is doing horrifically. So the inquiry of re-rolling a seed is presented as an arbitrary thing, and if all four ask for it, then that certainly could be the case. Although here, a half hour in, I think at this point we're rolling with what we've got.
So, in Hex Chat, I know they discussed, or IRC, they discussed that all four had to agree to a rematch. So even if Cyberdark and Braxis did do a reseed, the other two would have to agree for the whole roll to be reseeded.
And at this point, with Syl up to level 7 and having a pretty good go of it, all things considered, that's why I'm thinking we're going with it here. But yeah, the concern you can imagine on both Brax and Cyberdark's side, as they both had some rather uphill battles to climb. In Cyberdark's case, opting to change seeds, or change names, I should say, within the seed, and have a bonus of a agility MP build to get that starting strength going up. And in Brax's case, accidentally putting on the cursed belt, having to reset, and resetting all the way from scratch, from start.
And Syl found Tablet Cave, so hope we'll see what's in this chest.
Well, no enemies to encounter here. And we have a magic key. So this is a triumphant walk here, as now this will allow access to a few different places, most notably the treasury. And, well, I'm not sure how much gold Syl has. Well, 146, not enough to buy a whole lot here, but that was just to the northeast of that cave. And Emptyeye now finding the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight cave, so is just a little bit away. And strategies being discussed in chat. Do you go back into the tablet cave, navigate your way through, and pick up a second key? Do you just try to beeline it back to the castle and potentially save, which it looks like Syl's going to do, although potentially getting an assist here? Oh, getting the stop spell off on the Druin Lord and chipping away 4 at a time, 3 at a time. Now, Druin Lords have up to 35 HP, and there's the Fire Breath, and that's going to send Syl back. But Sylverfyre does have that key, and Emptyeye now is going to acquire the magic key as well. And heading right back on out. Interesting. Is going to perhaps grind up another level. Or maybe the level is a bit much, but is perhaps trying to get to the 85 gold that can be used to purchase a key inside of Tantagel Castle. Emptyeye, meanwhile, getting some exploration in and runs into a red dragon, showing why they are known as the fun police, because whenever they show up, the fun tends to stop. They're the strongest and most agile enemy that is not the Dragon Lord. And it's going to take a lot to take them out, and they definitely don't have that here in the, I would say the early going, but we are over a half hour into this seed, and it has certainly presented its challenges.
And here's our first look at the treasury. We have fairy water. Death necklace and another key and a torch. So at least he has a key to save and can kind of just keep going.
Yeah, Emptyeye was about to utilize the key to open the door and purchase more keys, but realizing, well, I'm just a little short on funds at the moment. And there's no, unlike Wimpy from Popeye, there will be no gladly paying you Tuesday. But Emptyeye is going to save and take a look at what is in the basement. And we have the Grave of Garen. So access to 5 treasure chests, although 2 of them are behind a locked door.
Both top players getting werewolves, but it looks like Sylverfyre has been able to get away, and Emptyeye
So the top 3 chests, the Stones of Sunlight, which is one of the key items that are needed, wings and a torch, and that bonus to the agility that Syl has, that allowed them to potentially have a better chance of escaping from those top tier enemies like an armored knight, like a werewolf, and was able to go and get those treasures. And now Syl going further into the grave as Emptyeye now picking up the Stones of Sunlight. Now you see here, Emptyeye has the treasure chest glitch in play. Now, how that works is treasure chests respawn every time you go to the overworld, but due to the programming limits at the time the game was made, the game only tracks up to 8 treasure chests as opened. So every chest open beyond that chest can, well, it can be taken over and over again. So in this case, the 4 chests that were opened in the treasury, that counts as 4. The 3 chests that were in the treasury, they're always marked as open, so you don't take them over and over again. And then heading into the basement of the castle, all they need to do is open 1 treasure chest, and any chest opened beyond that is enough to keep taking them over and over and over again. And oh, well, Sylverfyre utilizing kind of a slower gold grind here, as when you take the death necklace, as you see in the regular version of the game, it usually has anywhere from about 100 to 130 gold. So this is a way to grind up, but we have not yet seen a town anywhere. So this is a bit of a brazen move, utilizing the treasure chest glitch to do a rather lengthy gold grind, not knowing where there's a town to attempt to purchase weapons and armor to get a little bit further along in this seed.
So it's an interesting strategy. I don't know how far I would grind. Do you grind all the way up to the silver shield here?
Well, what concerns me, I mean, I might think about setting this up later. The problem is, I have no earthly idea where a town is. So it makes it's a very well, it's a gamble to say the least. Now, looks like we have a stop here, and that looks to be at just a little shy of 6 grand. And after maxing out on keys, just under 5,500. And chat thinking that that would be enough for, let's say, some mid-range weapons and armor, a full plate for 3,000, a broadsword for 1,500, and a large shield for 800. So that would be, quick math, that would be 5,300. So now they're going to throw the rappel on and get their exploration on and hope beyond hope that they find a town. You're right, ETAP. This is definitely big bucks and hoping for no whammies here.
And our first town is sighted on Emptyeye screen, and he dies and goes back to the beginning.
Oh, just short of a town and a cave, it looks like there as well.
I'm not sure which way he was going. I hadn't paid attention. And there it is on Sylverfyre screen.
So it looks like it was kind of heading around those bridges to the south and then down and around to the right. Oh, and Silverfyre just falls short as well. So opting to noting that the death was there, the reset in play, and now it's a charge down to that town.
It looks like chat is calling for Hawksness, and it just seems cruel. Let them get a break.
Yes, I'm hoping for this to end before midnight here on the East Coast. So please, yeah, exactly. Chat, please. Thank you, Mechalink. So now a wyvern here that Syl is able to get away from, and looks like the race is on to this town. Few steps away, and Silverfyre finds it, and it's coal. So there's a searchable spot here. Oh, if Erdrick's armor is in that search spot, this is going to be huge. And it's the fairy flute in its vanilla location. But at least there's a shop, so we can get some weapons, some armor. Let's see what's on the sale here. So it looks like a hand axe, a half plate, and a small shield will be the best to be purchased here. Hand axe gives 15 attack power. The half plate adds 16 defense, and the small shield adds 4 defense.
I always hate going and getting herbs at Cole, but I think with no heals, you have to go get herbs.
Brax, meanwhile, taking out a metal scorpion, and ETAP, the sub 45-minute gear. And meanwhile, Emptyeye taking out a metal slime. And that is going to give him the experience lead. Oh, but what a quandary here for Emptyeye, as with 1 HP left, does not have enough to survive the trek to Coal.
Mountain has been found.
And I believe that was the cave just south of Coal. But Sylverfyre takes a couple of steps in, and there's a Druid Lord to send them back to the castle. And yeah, very quietly, as a lot of the excitement has been all over the place here. Brack's already up to level 7, despite the cursed belt mishap earlier on in the seed. For those just joining us here on Randomania 2, FearonBurgundy here alongside Ursine, we've got two one-on-one matchups here in the third week of the Swiss rounds of the 2019 Dragon Warrior Randomizer tournament. Brax, about almost 20 minutes in, had accidentally put on a cursed belt that was found in the throne room, and that cursed belt would have been devastating, as there would have been no way to heal. And upon taking a death, would have been kicked right out of the castle. So Brax had to reset, and that essentially started him from scratch. I think it was 17 minutes into the seed. Cyberdark, meanwhile, had opted to change builds. Instead of going with a strength HP gain, decided to switch to the letter capital W, which is an agility MP bonus. So both the bottom runners kind of starting over in a sense, just like starting over, like the John Lennon hit from 1980. Sylverfyre and Emptyeye, meanwhile, have had a lot of traversing and a lot of deaths to ghosts and magicians in the early going. And the exploration pretty similar at this point. Both have found magic keys. Although Sylverfyre, they have gotten to the town of Coal and was able to purchase some weapons and armor, whereas Emptyeye has not yet done that. Sylverfyre doing that with a mini gold grind, thanks to the death necklace chest in the treasury.
Yes, Brax is less than 100 XP away from Sylverfyre, so he has come up quite.
And level 8 has hurt more on Sylverfyre's side. That is what is going to break things open. Hurt more now, that causes damage of anywhere from 58 to 65 hit points on an enemy, and you're going to see this experience total start to shoot up. So if you're Emptyeye here, you need another 36 experience, and you need it really fast. And Smashy getting in touch with his inner Jim Ross. By God, business is about to pick up. For the wrestling fans out there. So Brack's now running into another Wolf Lord. And ETAP, great point. In the very early part of this seed, all 4 of our runners were broken in half. Oh, and another red dragon taking out Sylverfyre. As the Wolf Lord takes out Brax, Cyberdark, meanwhile, back to the Swamp Cave. And chat noting Emptyeye just roughly a magician or, well, yeah, even a gold man or better, technically. Just 6 experience away, but is just steps away from the town here, not realizing that the next level is going to be so instrumental, but finding Cole and is going to make a beeline for that searchable spot 4 steps south of the baths. And taking a little note as to where Cole is, little geographical notation. And there is the fairy flute for Emptyeye. Now that's utilized to put the very late enemy, the golem, to sleep.
And Cyberdark made it across the continent, and he will probably be able to pick up a key.
Taking very careful steps to try to avoid an encounter, and does so. And Cyberdark gonna check out the tablet cave and get a key.
Does Braxis have a key yet?
I don't know, but Braxis has Hurtmore here and is very happy to see an Axe Knight. Oh, although very unfortunate. The Hurtmore usually hitting 15 out of 16 times that one resist, but able to get on the next one here down to minimal HP resources and is doing a little bit of walking around here. It's going to go ahead and put the Stone Man to sleep and run away. And now Brax finds the tablet cave and is going to get that magic key and has to wonder how early did his opponent get that key. Meanwhile, back to the mountain cave goes Sylverfyre. Already up to level 9, and you can see the Hurtmore paying dividends already here. And Emptyeye still exploring, just 6 experience away from level 8 and Hurtmore. And what do we have in the top of the mountain cave? Looks like some big bucks. Thanks to a little instant replay. And Cyberdark now going to go into the treasury and get the Torch Magic Key Death Necklace. And we've got an herb, meanwhile, on Sylverfyre's side. It's going to cast Hurtmore, and it's not enough. So 2 of the 5 treasure chests cleared here. And another lull from Emptyeye. At least he has a sense of humor about this seed. Brax and Cyberdark almost in stereo heading to Garen's grave. Back out to the other side, and now Emptyeye, realizing that Hurt More is in play, has a chance at least to catch up, is going to go back into the tablet cave to grab another key. Meanwhile, Brack's able to make it and pick up the Stones of Sunlight. Cyberdark not quite as fortunate. And Brax, I believe, has the treasure chest glitch on. So here comes level 9 for Brax. Very modest gains. Syl, meanwhile, they're up to level 10. So this is certainly a bit of a pickle and then some here, as we are almost an hour into this seed. The Stones of Sunlight have been found by all of our runners now, but still the Silver Harp is out there somewhere. Erdrick's token is out there somewhere. Actually, all of Erdrick's gear, the token, the armor, the sword. It's one of those things where all 4 of our runners have had their share of struggles. It's hard to say whether you feel like you're behind, whether you feel like everybody's struggling. I mean, did somebody get a lucky metal slime? I mean, there's a lot of things to factor in when it comes to a Dragon Warrior randomizer seed. So Brack's now going to work on a werewolf here. Heading back down into Garen's grave because, well, I mentioned the treasure chest respawning when you go to the overworld, so too do the doors. So because Brax has not been into the overworld, the door, well, that pretty much makes it easily accessible. You don't have to use another key. And ETAP, thank you so much for the kind words, as I was unaware that we didn't have game audio, but then again, I keep it muted so that way it's not creating any echo or reverberation to the audience. So Brax, meanwhile, making his way through Garen's grave, a chance to see what the other 2 treasures are here. One just maybe about another 10 steps away here. Oh, and Star Wyverns with Heal More. Oh, no. Opts to use the last Hurt More here. Oh, and it's not enough, and Brack's going to take another death here. Does he continue to make his way through to the grave? For all we know, Erdrick's sword could be down there, the best weapon in the game. One of the key items that are needed. It could be the Silver Harp down there. It could be the Erdrick's token. And Brax is going to take another crack at it. Now, I know that this has looked rather challenging, to say the least, but if you want to give this a try, and you can certainly adjust the settings to make it a little bit less cumbersome, a little bit harder, whichever your preference, you can download the Dragon Warrior Randomizer on the link that is in the Twitch chat. And if you want to get some tips and tricks and other knowledge as well as run up against some of these runners in casual races, you can certainly do so by joining the Dragon Warrior Randomizer Discord, also in the Twitch link. And yes, Ursine is part of the broadcast here. She did have to step away for a moment, and I was asked to kind of carry things as we're going along here. As we have now crossed the hour mark here in this Dragon Warrior Randomizer Tournament race. Level 11 now for Sylverfyre. And Syl, it looks like, just kind of playing in the swamp. Every step that you take in those swamp tiles does 2 hit points of damage. Syl out of MP, just looking to take the Death Warp. And question in chat, do I race? Yes, I actually just started streaming 4 weeks ago today, so I actually was able to get everything up in time to be able to compete in this tournament. So far, I am 1-1, just as our 4 runners are here, and we'll be competing in my race this coming Sunday at noon Eastern on one of the networks yet to be determined. So Emptyeye now in the grave and finds the Silver Harp, so the grave is required. Silver Harp not in its vanilla location, but it is certainly available here. Looking on what to discard because the inventory is full, drops the torch, gets the Silver Harp. So our trackers, as challenged as they are, they've just put up 100+ deaths and kind of left it at that because it's hard to keep track as they've been going along. Here is another one now for Cyberdark. And Syl, meanwhile, going to make their way down through Garen's grave. Meanwhile, here's level 9 for Emptyeye. 0 HP. He loves it. Not able to hang on enough, though, to that Armored Knight, as 1 hurt more would not do it. So back goes Emptyeye before going deep into Garen's grave to find something potentially big or not. But here's Syl, meanwhile, now getting the Silver Harp. And yes, credit to both of our trackers here, Fury SK and Smashy, trying to handle the action on all 4 screens going on here. 4 different racers all at the same time, certainly presenting its challenge. Cyberdark going to take a look, and oh, the red dragon looks to be the guardian enemy in the swamp cave, so not ideal for a grind, at least not yet. Meanwhile, the Star Wyvern taking out Brax. And Syl, meanwhile, with that super high agility, you see up to 71 already, so not quite endgame ready, but getting in that borderline range. Able to escape a lot of enemies, but when you have hurt mortal enemies like Star Wyverns, you certainly want to do that. As you can see now, a 1,500 experience lead over Emptyeye. And the bottom chest is the Fighter's Ring. So once that's put on, that is going to add 2 attack power to the total. So that certainly is a welcome sight. Although, given the number of trips that our runners have taken to get down there, they may argue later that it was not necessarily wasted effort, but a lot of effort spent certainly on it. And that the reward may not have necessarily matched the chronological effort required. As now Fire Breath from a Druid Lord taking Cyberdark out here, and Cyber really needs to get to level 8. Just 22 experience away. That will bring Hurtmore, and that will allow him to close in on things. And Emptyeye, meanwhile, falling to a red dragon. Showing once again why they are known as the Fun Police. Meanwhile, on minimal resources, because again, our runners I don't believe they have a heal spell here at level 11. No, they have not yet been able to heal, and the only healing they've been able to do is if they purchase herbs in the town of Cole. Cole is the only town that we have seen 66 minutes into this seed. So the exploration has been both bountiful and at the same time limited. And Cyberdark able to put this Druid to sleep. One more hit. And that is going to get him level 8, and he is going to be pleased as punch to see Hurtmore. Love that fire animation. Syl, meanwhile, is finding a nice grind spot here for the mid-levels here, finding a lot of Droll Magi's and Rogue Scorpions, very hurt-moreable enemies that for 5 MP, you're getting 58 experience at a time, 70 experience at a time, and now here's level 12. 2, 2, 11, and 4, still no heal spells at level 12. Well, Syl able to hit the stop spell on the blue dragon, but between an attack and a fire, that is going to send Sylverfyre back. And to answer the question, yes, all spells are guaranteed at level 16, so as troublesome as it may sound, there is the possibility that both Heal and Heal More could come at level 16. Ooh, well, Cyberdark with the lucky experience, but not so lucky against the green dragon. Green dragons, on average, resist that Hurtmore spell about 1 out of 16 times. Maybe 2 out of 16, actually. So that was a little bit of rough luck there. So Syl, meanwhile, just kind of traveling through that little desert area and continuing to find those mid-level enemies here. Brax, meanwhile, is, well, still trying to make his way through the grave, but on that same token is hanging in there in terms of experience, already 28-23, and a lot of that has to do with the werewolves and armored knights that he is... So he's taking a lot of deaths, but at the same time, he's also getting a lot of experience in the process and has been trying to make his way to this treasure chest and will be thrilled once he does. Emptyeye, meanwhile, in Cole and making some herb purchases here. That's been the only way that our runners have been able to heal, as, well, you see with the treasure chest glitch, it can create some rather interesting combinations because the game doesn't know what to do when it's beyond 8 treasure chests. So you see the combination there, the Harp Knight, which was found. A very chivalrous musician, to say the least. Well, Tilo, good to have you here in the booth. It's certainly been. I mean, you've had the chance to see this here with the with doing the restreaming, and boy, has this one been. This one has been a series of hurdles. Yeah, certainly a lot of factors that depend. Usually it's about a 10% difference of the bonus stats to the detrimental stats. So as you can see here, I'm trying to find some semblance of a comparison, but with all four of our runners at different levels, it makes it a little bit of a challenge here. As Emptyeye back in the mountain cave, so picking up the gold up top, and we'll see if we can find out what 3 of those treasure chests are, as they have not been full cleared as of yet. And on just 1 hit point, able to hurt more that wolf, but thankfully having those herbs, looks like might be able to see a full clear here of the mountain cave. And Emptyeye going to go ahead and head up to the 2 chests we haven't seen. We've got the dragon scale that our runners found early on, that adds 2 defense points to the total, and a fairy water, which works like the repel spell, getting rid of the weaker enemies. Oh, and Sylverfyre has found another town. 73 minutes in, and we finally get our second town here, and it is the town of Cantlin, the proverbial shopping mall of Alfgard.
Alright, sorry about that, everyone. Apparently I was talking on Discord, but not on the restream. I think that should be squared away now. Still trying to figure out this whole restreaming thing.
So the conversation was just one-sided to the audience. Fantastic.
Yeah, you got to listen to my whole diatribe. You got the privilege of hearing that just to yourself.
Alright, and the last chest in the mountain cave is gold. So Sylverfyre going to take a look, and the shopping not exactly to their liking, but is going to head on into this area of barrier tiles. Every step that is taken on those takes away 15 hit points of damage. And you can see Sylverfyre, we're going to get ourselves potentially some coordinates here. 26 south and 43 east of the castle.
Seems to me that that's likely going to be a princess rescue, because if I'm remembering the map correctly, you can't go very far south from the castle without hitting water.
Well, it'll require a little bit of backtracking here, as now Brack's picking up the fairy flute in coal.
10,
And already making their way to the count.
12, 14, 16, minus 2.
Yeah, it's one of those where you go south, you have to go a little bit west, and then come back to the east. So, like Paul McCartney of the Beatles sang about, this is the long and winding road, but instead of leading to your door, let's see what it leads to here. Will it be Erdrick's token or Erdrick's armor? Emptyeye, meanwhile, falling to an armored knight as Brax purchasing some herbs. And Cyberdark on the exploration is going to, I believe, head back over toward where the mountain cave and coal are. And Lorgon picking up the observation of... Oh, Syl taking a note across the water there is that maybe somewhere where they'll have to traverse, potentially, to get on over to the other end.
So, while Syl's working on this count, I will mention what I so eloquently said to Fearon himself earlier. The build Cyberdark chose to get a start was a really brilliant play, which would have helped him if there were no red slimes. But the downside of having done that to get that strength boost early is you're going to really start seeing those strength stats go down at this point. By the level that will be go mode for the other 3 players, Cyberdark will be probably 10 to 11 strength behind, and so we'll probably end up needing to gain another level or 2 to dive beyond what the others will. I mean, with more MP, he's not going to need the same attack power they're going to have, but there is still probably going to be a couple of levels he's going to need beyond the others.
Alright, just a fair bit of warning here. I just had some light flickering action. Apparently there's a little storm rolling through here, and it may be taking me out here. We'll see.
We'll just keep doing tag team stuff. You'll hop out, we'll bring someone else in, just like I just tapped in for Ursin. We'll just keep the thing going. Alright, well actually it seems like we might have lost Fearon. So, Smashy or Fury, if you want to join in and tap in and just keep this party going, feel free.
I mean, I can try to look at all these screens and yak at once, but it's going to be a little tricky. Okay, looks like our bomb racers are going through the mountain cave in sync. Not going to find much there, really, but... well... can't leave any stone unturned, especially with that sword out there.
So with all the chaos that's been going on, I've missed a little bit of the middle of this seed, but looks like Praxis has made a really impressive run at Sylverfyre for having fallen so far behind and had to reset early on. I mean, 20 minutes in, there was, had no experience. Being this close to Syl is really impressive.
Yeah, this, Praxis isn't even fighting Syl, but... yeah, Braxis was able to catch back up nicely after that mishap. And if you want to go through what you were talking about, Emptyeye strength HP versus Cyberdark agility MP, you can see it right there.
And I'm back.
At
That
least
was adventurous.
Woohoo. At least until Emptyeye murders this werewolf for level 12.
So apparently we're dealing with RNG and Mother Nature here in this seed, but thank you so much, Smashy and Tilo, for holding things down as I was, thankfully my computer was able to reboot super quickly.
Takes a village to commentate.
It most certainly does. Oh my goodness. And thankfully, all the restore things were up, so everything just kind of popped right up. This is, technology is a great thing when it works.
And we have our Erdrick's armor on Sylverfyre's side. That's a pretty significant find now. And very nice job counting by Syl.
So the overworld had the armor spot. Or the overworld spot had the armor. I can do words good. Apparently I need to reset myself.
So now Braxis is getting his coordinates, and I imagine we'll be attempting to count those pretty soon.
Meanwhile, level 13 now for Syl, and I believe still no... Oh, wait. Heal more. Yes, right after picking up Erdrick's armor because the game knows. Well, heal more is essentially required to take out the Dragon Lord, so it is certainly a welcome sight. And dual instays for Brax and Emptyeye. Pretty much in stereo.
So have we seen, has anybody seen the Staff Cave yet, or Hawksness? Or, never mind, Syl's on Hawksness right now.
Oh, and it's an Axe Knight. And there's Erdrick's token. So here comes the grind. The Axe Knight, one of the preferred enemies to be able to hurt more. Most of the time, able to be one-shot with a hurt more. And question in chat, does item space get larger the higher level you go? No, your inventory is the same regardless. So, you know, you can't carry more items if your level increases, if I understand the question in chat correctly. Yeah, keys and herbs are kind of their own separate inventory slot, but you can carry 8 things up to that, I believe.
Braxis
Yeah,
landing his heal more level as well.
And no worries, IRL has been getting a lot of us here. In your case, it has been parenting issues, and in my case, it's been Mother Nature. Ooh, and an Axe Knight laying out Sylverfyre. Brax able to take one out, though. Emptyeye, meanwhile, is running around in the swamp, perhaps looking to take an intentional death here.
Our family is over here trying to cause as much confusion as possible for the viewers.
Yes, apparently in this seed, even the backstage roles are randomized. Restreamer, tracker, commentator, it's all being shuffled around. Lorgon in chat saying, I don't know who anyone is anymore. I don't even know who I am anymore, Lorgon. Yeah, nobody expecting the commentators to try a new name stat build also, just like Cyberdark did. Lorgon's apparently FearonBurgundy, and I'll be Brysolf. Why not? Yeah, trying the new commentator randomizer. It's called Discord.
All right, so let's let's see if I can get my focus back on the seed here. We've got Cyberdark has now managed to hit level 12, so still ways behind because he was a little late getting to that hurt more, but would be within range if I'm trying to figure out what would help him catch up without having, given that he has to gain probably 2 more levels over Braxis.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, all of the key quest items have been found. It's a matter of, if you want to dig through for Erdrick's sword, it's a matter of where that is. The only treasure chests that are not in Charlotte Castle that have yet to be found is the one locked behind the 2 doors in Rimeldar, and the 3 that are behind the locked door in the town of Garenham.
Unfortunately, the dive for the sword probably won't end up being particularly productive or useful in this seed, since we just saw the easy grind monster in Hawksness. Having that extra attack power isn't going to do you a whole lot of good before the Dragon Lord.
Ooh, and the Blue Dragon sending Cyberdark back, slept and wrecked. And Smashy noting in chat that Garenham might be required. I believe as far as the caves go, we have not seen the Rainbow Drop Cave, nor have we seen the Staff of Rain Cave to trade in the Silver Harp. Or actually, did Sylverfyre trade it in earlier? I thought I saw that they did, but this has been a very long and confusing seed. Wow. Big magic point gain on 14. Okay, and I was mistaken. So the Staff of Rain still has to be traded in. So more than likely, one of those caves in the back of Garenham is either going to be the Rainbow Drop Cave or the Staff of Rain Cave, as Emptyeye now finding the town of Breckenary. Or as stated by my co-lead commentator Z-Man, oh look, it's Breckenary. As it usually tends to have its primary use as maybe an item shop, the very inexpensive inn of just 6 gold, and well, I mean, does it have a large shield? Maybe that could be a nice upgrade for Emptyeye. I didn't see if he had checked the shop or not. But nonetheless, Emptyeye moving on. A large swamp that Cyberdark's rolling through, and, well, without really having any healing, it's kind of a pretty much a walk to death there. It's almost like the sad swamp in the never-ending story.
And if I'm not mistaken, that's the swamp that the armor is currently hiding in too, which just adds insult to injury there.
Oh, goodness. Looks like Brack's now working on the count to try to get Erdrick's armor. The only one of our 4 runners who has acquired Erdrick's armor thus far is Sylverfyre. Again, even though this looks like it is a quad race, this is 2 separate one-on-one matchups. It is Sylverfyre against Emptyeye and Brax against Cyberdark. The respective winners will go to a 2-1 record and be 1 step closer to making the bracket stage of the tournament. 3 wins out of 5 will get you there. So this very crucial for both 1-1 races.
It is rather remarkable to me that, if I understand correctly, we have not seen Rimildar or Garanham on any of the 4 racer screens this far in. It's just very interesting.
That is correct. And yes, for those of you just joining us, FearonBurgundy here with you, alongside Tilo doing double duty of restreaming and commentary. Tilo sitting in for Ursine, who had to deal with some IRL issues. We also have our 2 trackers, Fury SK and Smashy, doing a fantastic job of keeping an eye on all 4 screens that are going on here.
I do think what Lorgon just said in chat needs to be re-emphasized, that the bottom match was 0-0 more than 20 minutes in, and so the fact that they've both, Braxis is pulled up and is not that far behind Sylverfyre in experience, and Cyberdark is still pretty competitive in his own right, even having to re-roll and create a new build. It's really impressive that they've been able to at least kind of hold serve right now with the upper matchup.
Yeah, the challenges have been numerous for all of our runners, but Brax, about 17 minutes in, had accidentally, via a miss menu, put on the cursed belt and had to reset and start from scratch. Meanwhile, Cyberdark was having trouble taking on any enemy and opted to change the name and change the build, going from a strength HP build to an agility MP build, and that allowed him to get caught up about 20 minutes in, but it was 20 minutes in before it essentially reset things to 0-0 on that lower race. Emptyeye, meanwhile, taking out the Axe Knight and picked up Erdrick's token.
One other interesting point on Cyberdark's decision to re-roll is that he chose the Agility MP build instead of the HP MP build. Both of those would have given the same boost in strength, or the same early boost in strength and same deficit now, but with the HP build, he could have had a better chance at being able to throw on the Death Necklace late in the game to make up for the lack of attack power he was going to get. But with agility, he's not going to have that extra freedom. And this really hurts when you're in Brax's shoes and you've made this count and you've gotten so close, and now you can't figure out exactly where you're off, and you're going and searching everything. And what inevitably happens is you search about 30 tiles, miss it, go back, start the count over, and realize that there was this one hole in everywhere you searched that actually had what you were looking for. So what I have found is when you come to that situation, your best option for searching is to search out in a spiral, because odds are you just missed by 1 or 2 in any given direction. And so searching long rows or columns tends to be less effective than just searching out in a spiral to make sure you cover every 1 by 1 or 2 by 2 square around you.
Sylverfyre taking a note here as they have found the Rainbow Drop Cave. Meanwhile, Emptyeye has found the town of Rimmeldar, so there is a treasure chest we'll be able to see here. Or maybe not?
Meanwhile, Braxis did give up on the hunt, which, you know, kind of like I was saying, he was so close to it so many times and managed to miss searching it. And so now he's going to go back, start his count over, and get there and be like, how did I miss searching this tile when I was right there?
And chat noting that by process of elimination, that means that the town of Garenham will have that Staff of Rain Cave, so Garenham is required. And there is Garenham. So Emptyeye with a little bit of indecision. Do I go and buy more herbs first? Do I go check out the weapon shop? Do I attack the trolley NPC? And here is Cyberdark getting to level 13. Nice gains, and is going to be thrilled to see heal more. So a magic key and some big bucks in the 3 treasure chests in Garenham, and there is the Staff of Rain Cave.
I think it'll be...
Question, chat. I don't think that we have seen what was in the Rimmeldar chest. I know Emptyeye went into Rimmeldar and purchased more keys, but I think that he might have skipped the treasure chest. At this point, Erdrick's sword has an 87% chance of being in Sharlock.
Meanwhile, Braxis pummels a red dragon to save the princess so that he can not mess up a count a second time.
Now, when you rescue the princess and take her back to the castle, you get an item from her that is Gwaelin's Love. And what that means is you can use that as the community, or as they know it, it's the Gwaelin Positioning System, or GPS for short. She will tell you where she is in relation to your spot on the overworld map, because it's all about her. She'll also let you know how many experience it takes to get to the next level, but our runners can use that to see how far away they are from the castle. If the distance to the searchable spot is just a little too long and winding or too high of a count, she'll be able to tell you that differential and allow you to be able to search.
Now, it is worth noting that at this point, if Sylverfyre finds the rainbow drop, this is go mode for them. With Erdrick's Sword, that puts you at 134 attack power, and on my chart, you need 14 swings to have a greater than 80% chance of winning, and we've got 13 heal mores already there, so I don't know. You never know how bad Charlock's going to be, but the faster they can find the rainbow drop, the better, because they may not need another level.
Well, still going back into the mountain cave, as I believe they had taken a death earlier on and didn't quite full clear it. Now, though, at level 15, able to handle things a lot easier. So, Dragon Scale for Sylverfyre, which had never been put on until now. And there's a Fairy Water.
Now, have we checked every shop and confirmed that there is no large shield available, or have our runners just given up on trying to find it?
I think it's probably been low on the priority list. Now, there's Hawksness for Emptyeye. Which might be good for grinding levels later because there's that Axe Knight there.
Emptyeye validating his run.
I should probably...
And Cyberdark landing on Cantlin, so he can get those coordinates now, and hopefully get the armor soon, and get moving as quickly as possible.
There we go. My push to talk apparently wasn't doing its thing here. So yes, as far as the validating of the run, that means that well, we have a runner in the community. Her name is Sparkover, and she well, there are some bridges named after her, and they are the bridges that go over toward one tile. And the hope is to search that spot in the ever so rare likelihood, about the likelihood of winning Mega Millions and Powerball jackpots in the same week, that particular search spot will be the overworld item. So searching it, it's kind of a joking meme type thing of validating the run. And Emptyeye has acquired the rainbow drop, and here we are 105 minutes into this seed, and looks like we've got a little bit to go here. Emptyeye looking at the wares in Breckenary, not finding that large shield. Gonna stay at the inn and head on out.
And Braxis reaches his potential go mode level, still needing to clean up all the exploration. Especially in Braxis's case, when you hit the go mode level and you're not done with the exploration, it can be really, really frustrating because you know you're behind if the other person found stuff because you didn't need to overgrind on them. But in his case specifically, because he had to reset and took so long to get out of the start, he's got to assume that Cyberdark is, you know, diving Sharlock right now with everything, not knowing that Cyberdark had the same kind of problems that he did. And so with hitting the level before finishing the exploration is really, really frustrating if you're in his shoes.
Absolutely, but there is Erdrick's armor for Brax now after going and acquiring the princess. Meanwhile, Sylverfyre, they have found Garenham, have found the Staff of Rain Cave. He's going to trade that in, and it's just a visit to the Rainbow Drop Cave, or affectionately known as the Jerk Cave, before acquiring their Rainbow Drop.
As Lorgon points out in chat, the princess cost Braxis 11 minutes to go get the armor and all that fun stuff. I have to say that he's done an amazing job of not letting that slow down his XP lead. I keep comparing him and Sylverfyre's screen, even though the two of them are not directly racing each other. Basically, he's completely kept up pace with Sylverfyre in terms of XP gain, even throughout the process of having to go find the princess and do all those things. So he didn't lose too much pace on that. Now again, experience is of lesser value at this point, but it still is a very impressive job of, hey, I can at least do something useful while I'm rescuing the princess here.
Yeah, you have to remember that Brax had about essentially a 17-minute deficit, having to reset thanks to accidentally putting on the cursed belt. And Sylverfyre has acquired their Rainbow Drop, so now it looks like it's, in Silver's case, a matter of grind and go. In Emptyeye's case, well, still has to find that Erdrick's armor. And Lorgon asking, Syl could potentially dive and... Meanwhile, there's Erdrick's token for Brax, having taken out the Axe Knight. And the question...
So it appears Sylverfyre does have a key remaining there, so that concern is that could be really painful to get to the bottom.
And chat noting that yes, taking a death after opening the door but not quite getting to the treasure chest would be heartbreaking.
Oh, because Syl hasn't found Rimmildar yet. I guess though they know where the cave is, so they can get more keys if it comes to that. It's not too far away from the castle, but still, it'd be quite a bit of time loss if that happened.
Well, true, and there is the possibility that Erdrick's sword could be in Rimmildar. in that one treasure chest. The only runner, I believe, to have found Rimildar was Emptyeye, and he did not go and check the treasure chest.
So that brings up an interesting strategy decision on Sylverfyre's side. Do you go vanilla first? Ordinarily, I would say go to the treasury first in a situation like this, but given that there is a chest out in the overworld that you're still missing, it's much faster to just stop by vanilla on your way down than it is to go down, then come back up to vanilla, and then try to go do the search after that. It would be nice to complete it in kind of one descent. So I think if I were in Syl's case, I would probably go vanilla yet. That's not saying that's the right move, it's just the move I would do.
Well, the other concern is if along the way the enemies stop you after you go to vanilla, but it looks like Syl is going to make their way all the way down and play the odds here and go for the 6 treasure chests. And we have some last-minute guesses here, as we don't have the official pyramid game, or at least we could, but man, I guess would Rimildar be the audience in this case? So you have the 50, 150, or sorry, the 50, 100, 150, the 200, 250, and 300, the bottom left, bottom middle, bottom right, middle left, middle right, and top chest. There's the judges table, which is the vanilla chest, and I guess in this case we've got the audience, which is Rimildar.
I will say that Sharlock has seemed to be fairly tame. We did have the golems with Sleep and Hurtmore that are everywhere, but with Sylverfyre's agility, that hasn't become too much of an issue yet. And we have had some armored knights show up on the top floor, but that didn't cause a whole lot of problems either. So if the sword is here, oh, there it is, right there. So Syl is ready to go and should be able to, should win this battle with the Dragon Lord with high percentages unless something goes really awry. Bad heal mores, nasty DL1 plus back attack or something. But 13 swings on average will win it, and 14 swings puts them at over 80%. So it's looking pretty good for Sylverfyre right now. Though it is worth noting that at this agility, or even at this agility, with only a small shield, even the wizards aren't being defense broken down here, so as much as you enjoy seeing wizards all over the place, if you can't run, it does end up hurting you a little bit still.
And we have just lost FearonBurgundy, so I'm just going to jump back in here. And is that a blue dragon on a spike tile?
It is. This could be really
and
nasty.
Unfortunately, stop spell misses, so that was kind of the one free spell that Silver had. Silver asleep again. Silver getting almost wrecked. There goes a heal more. Here comes the sleep.
So this definitely throws a wrench into Sylverfyre's plans. I still think they're okay if they can get away if they can get through. Well, I guess to throw another stop spell though, they have to land, or they have to lose another heal more. So it starts getting a little dicey.
Well, there's 2 hits into it. Going to be able to kill it unless this is a bad roll or a dodge. Bit of a low roll, but still good enough to get the kill.
Alright.
So 12 heal more left. Trying to heal, walk it back up, and we've had our share of miscues. Let's not have another miscue No miscue, Sylverfyre is officially a fool.
Dragonlord being nice to Sylverfyre and going with the stop spell. Being less nice this time with a hurt more.
And Mother Nature being less nice with my electricity.
Thunderstorms are the true fun police. And back attack on Sylverfyre, that just makes it worse.
We have 13 to start here. Again, the Dragonlord can have anywhere from 150 to 165. Another 16. We're at 29 now for Syl. Oh, and a low roll of 8 there. I believe we're at 47. Another 10 makes 57. All right, up to 69 with now... Well, debating the number of heal mores here. 6 left. Oh, big 16 there, up to 85. Not able to get the double. Now 95 with 5 heal mores left, now 4. Up to 105. 118 for Syl. $127 with the single digit 9. $137. Last heal more here. 152, and Syl's gonna do it.
Very nice of the Dragonlord to roll low after how nasty that blue dragon was to Sylverfyre. So everybody get your GGs out for Sylverfyre. Finishing with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 10 seconds.
Just sneaking in under 2 hours, and what a rough seed this was. So Sylverfyre going to take a moment to recover here, and they'll be joining us in the commentator booth momentarily for a post-race interview. And Emptyeye has just, he said, and in the words of good old JR, mercifully it's over, and puts in the dot quit, so Emptyeye gonna put in the forfeit here.
Hello.
And there is Sylverfyre. Congrats and GG.
That was a stressful race.
It most certainly was. Looking amongst the, well, everything going on between the four of you, you definitely were the most patient of the runners, as was noted by Lorgon here in chat, in that you just plugged away at the red slimes. You saw that healing wasn't coming even into level 8, 9, 10. It was just a lot of patience had to be had with this seed.
Level 13 was when we got heal more. But yeah, like I realized at some point, it's like, you know what? I just need to be patient on this, because like with no healing, a lot of swamps, and like kind of mediocre equipment and no real way to get great equipment. Like, it's just had to be patient. And then I got hurt more at what, level 11? I wanna
8.
say? What is it?
It was level 8. Because
Okay,
you get level 8.
I don't know.
at
I got hurt more, and then like I blazed through a few levels on like Rogue Scorpions real quick.
Emptyeye joining us in here as well. One thing of note for the two of you, and this was a very high-risk, high-reward scenario. Now, I don't believe that either of you had seen a town early on, but Sylverfyre, you decided to go with a kind of a mini gold grind on the Death Necklace chest, as that was giving you about 100 and change gold with each take, utilizing the treasure chest glitch. Having not seen a town, it was kind of an interesting play. What was going through your mind on that?
So basically at that point, I looked at my agility. My agility was like in the mid 40s. Like it was like 46 or something. And I'm like, okay, I know at this point that I can walk far enough to find a town, no matter where it is. So I will get enough to get like I got 5,900, enough to fill up my key stack, and then have the 5,400 for a shield, a full plate, and a broadsword, if those were available. And like figuring it's like, you know what, I'm not gonna do the Death Necklace chest only gives 100 gold. I'm not gonna do that one all the way to like 14k, especially not knowing where a town is. But I felt comfortable just getting enough gold to like that when I find a town, and it was time to go look for towns, in my opinion, that I wanted enough to like buy something reasonable. Because punching stuff was getting real old real fast.
Yeah, especially...
I was on the verge of asking for a reseed. I was on the verge of just up and dot quitting between 10 and 15 minutes in. I'm not even kidding. Like, that's how my beginning was.
I think, like, level 2, when we got sleep, I started sleeping scorpions. And, like, punching them.
My problem was finding red slimes to kill. Like, it took me a while to actually get to level 2. Part of that was my fault, because I was...
Yeah, it took me a few minutes to get to level 2 as well. I want to say I was, like, level 4 at 15 minutes. It wasn't great.
It was, yeah. That's still... I'd have to go back and check, but I'm sure that's more progress than I made in 15 minutes. Like, I'm not kidding when I said I was on the verge of just dot quitting and being like, you know what, I'm not wasting my time with this seed. Just take the win.
Like, it certainly was a real rough one.
It was that bad of a beginning.
Yeah, it was a real rough beginning. I got my first key out of the Erdrick's tablet.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I
don't know where I still don't know where Rimildar is.
I found Rimildar pretty late. It's let me take a look here. It's way down on the south edge of the map.
Okay, so like
it was kind of southwest of
Proxinus,
if you ever found
Garenham, but like I found Garenham and that was my go mode.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I did the same thing. You mentioned the mini gold grind. What I did was I got 3 keys out of Erdrick's cave, and then I actually did I think what I did was I got 1 key out of the cave, checked the treasury, saw there was a key in there, and then later on I went and basically got 3 keys out of Erdrick's cave, and then in the grave I actually died and set up a key grind to fill up my key stack. And then I grabbed a little bit of gold out of the Death Necklace chest as well. That wasn't actually my primary purpose for going in there. It was to grind keys up, because I just had no gold, no nothing even then. It was ridiculous.
Well, I will tell you that while you both definitely did have your share of struggles, Brax and Cyberdark, the other racers that are still going here, I'm surprised that neither of them have dot quit yet, given their own individual issues. Cyberdark, it took 20 minutes for Cyberdark to find a red slime, and actually he had opted probably about maybe 15 or so minutes in, or actually I think it was closer to 19 minutes, to switch builds, and is currently working on an agility MP build.
Oh, that's interesting.
To have the +2 strength at level 1?
Yeah, the strength and HP at the start.
That's a little bizarre, but it looks like it's gonna work out for him. He's ahead in XP. I don't know what their situation for
Yeah, let me hop on the stream here.
yeah, like I'm looking at him. He's ahead of his opponent.
Well, that was
XP.
Cyberdark had to change
way
the build.
around.
Oh, Cyberdark was the one who changed build. Sorry.
Yeah, now Brax had an interesting scenario as well. So, in attempting to, I believe it was heading up to that Erdrick's or Tablet Cave, had gone in with just I believe it was the torch that was found in the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight Cave and the cursed belt that was found in the throne room. There was a miss menu, and Brax accidentally put on the cursed belt 17 minutes into the seed, had to reset, and essentially started from scratch 17 minutes in.
Oh no.
Jesus.
So yeah, this has been a series of trials and tribulations for all of the runners here in this seed.
Yeah, I don't really know what else to say other than GG Sylverfyre pushing through that, because I mean I was in Charlock by the time when you finished, but I'm just curious, where was the Erdrick sword?
Sword was in the bottom left treasury box.
Okay. The $50 chest.
Okay, yeah, I never got to check anything in Charlock by the time you finished,
Yeah,
but
you just
I
didn't.
was I never checked the bottom chest in grave either, so I was like, well.
I did check the bottom chest in grave. I don't remember what it was.
It was a fighter's ring.
Oh
that's
yeah,
where
it was the fighter's ring. I was actually
okay.
real happy to find that one.
Yeah, that actually might have helped me a little bit, but yeah, what can you do?
I was down to like two swings left over on the Dragon Lord, and he died at 153, 152.
You had hit for 152. We took a look at the stats, and Dragon Lord actually rolled minimum. It rolled the 150.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, so my comedy of errors, the first was critical missing a ghost and dying, which I think would have gotten me level 2 had I hit, which I found funny, which you'll see if you run that stream. And then the other one was buying the copper sword at 591 experience, and this is how I know you got hurt more at level 8, which is 600 experience.
Oh yeah, I had the hand
sword.
axe. I had a hand axe for like
Okay.
all of 2 minutes when I got hurt more.
Yep. Yeah, I bought a copper sword. I killed one enemy. I got level 8. I got hurt more. And again, you can see my reaction. If you
Yeah, that was about my reaction too.
That we made sure to point that out here on commentary. That was that threw me for a little bit of a loop when I saw it.
That's actually left over from some of the chaos weeks in the the kind of variety tournament that we did earlier this year, where you just kind of have to embrace chaos mode. It was a similar thing. It was just like I have to just laugh to keep from crying, really.
I have unfortunately never been able to embrace chaos mode. Just not a huge fan of it.
Yeah, well, chaos mode, or I guess the individual flags that make it up now with the new randomizer. But, yeah, if nothing else, I can at least take comfort in the fact that my shenanigans were not what cost me the race. So
no, I actually had a death that I was like, if I lose the race, this particular death is why, because I died to a red dragon after 96 damage because I got greedy and didn't cast a heal more, and that was when I was like walking to where I knew Garenham had to be, but I hadn't found Garenham yet.
Right, okay. Yeah, my map, my little stick figure map, as I like to call it, I ran out of space to the south. So it's all
I had my swamp area and my Tantagel area like start overlapping, and then I like kind of re-scribbled out a second map.
Oh, nice.
Oh, this is an interesting development here. So Brax is in Charlock and is actually going to check the vanilla sword location for Erdrick's sword.
It's odd, but okay.
Always bet on vanilla. I had considered doing that because it kind of depended on how close I was going to get to level 16 when I made it there.
Oh, I knew I was gonna try. I knew I was gonna go for the finish at 15.
Okay, yeah, it was kind of borderline for me. I don't think it would have mattered even if I'd gone at 15. You were right at that point, but it was one of those things where well, like I said, I knew it was kind of borderline. I figured I had a good shot if I got down there with everything, but I ran into an armored knight because I was trying to kind of grind and dive on the way down just in case. Ran into an armored knight and I hurt moored it, and I was like, well, that kind of takes care of that. But yeah, I had considered checking vanilla, and in part because I still didn't know. For all I knew, the sword wasn't in Charlock at all. It was in the bottom of the
Yeah,
dragon.
that's fair. I went in knowing that it was in Charlock, so I could just be like, yeah, I'm gonna get the treasury, I'm gonna pick up my sword, and then I'm gonna go stab the Dragon Lord.
Right.
And if it's not in the treasury,
I wonder if the
turn
cat
around
is
and go get
trying
the
to assist me on commentary here. Yeah, that was the other thing. The other thing was just I figured I was behind. I would have to kind of make a gamble if I wanted to come back.
Yeah, I actually almost had a severe accident with the Blue Dragon guard. It resisted stop spell,
Okay.
and then it slept me and got like single-digit health with baby breath, and then I blew a heal more, and then it slept me again, brought me down to 50 health.
Wow.
And then I'm like, I'm gonna run away and use some herbs and just start over. So I did that. And then I go in and it ambushes me. So I literally lost like 2 minutes on that stupid blue dragon. And I knew they couldn't resist stop spell all the time or that badly
Right.
because I had stop spelled them before.
Okay.
And even killed one because I'm like, oh, stop spell, and then all you do is spam sleep. Yeah, I'll kill you.
Yeah, I don't think I even saw a blue dragon until very late, which was weird. Like I think
They were in like
I walked to Charlock with my first blue dragon, and I found out right away. Oh, they can sleep. That's wonderful.
yeah, there was like a very small zone that was kind of next to the zone with the rogue scorpions and droll
Okay.
magies.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
And so like I accidentally overstepped once and ran into it, and I'm like, well, okay, can you have sleep? Can I stop spell you? I can. Cool. And then of course I try to stop spell the Dragon Lord's guard, and it doesn't work. And I almost died.
Yeah, I definitely had one
if it had gone for a
47
melee
that
attack, I
resisted
would've
hurt more
died.
twice in a row. So that was fun.
So, I have a question here for Emptyeye. So, you were in Rimmeldar. I think you were the only one to find Rimmeldar. I don't recall. Did you check the treasure chest in Rimmeldar?
Yes, it was an herb.
Oh, it was an herb. Okay, we didn't see it, or at least I hadn't, although there were also 2 periods during the race where my power had flickered enough to take the computer down, so I had to quick scramble, restart, and come back in here. Thank you so much to Ursine, Tilo, and Smashy for kind of filling in on commentary in the midst of all that.
Yes, and thank you to all 3 of those people, and you as well, of course, Ron, for all the behind the scenes stuff, the tracking, commenting, the restreaming. Very important work that I don't really do enough of. So
yeah, we weren't 100% sure, so we were speculating, oh gosh, what if the sword is in Rimmeldar and nobody has checked it? So that was something that we weren't certain of, again, not having seen it, but then again, so much going on here. Now, Brax is on the Dragon Lord at level 17, and with a big 20 HP gain at level 17, this is... yeah, all green stats across the board, 90 defense power, is damage breaking the first form of the Dragon Lord. Barring a miss menu, although there was one earlier today, as noted in chat here for Brax, this should be a pretty free fight.
I had a couple minor miss menus, nothing too serious, but
Yeah,
I did
same
have
here.
to repel the darkness in the dungeons a couple times. Doesn't work.
My biggest miss menu actually was trying to sleep an armored knight and then dying.
That's right. Yeah, I think I didn't try to sleep in armor. Well, I guess I did technically. That was one. I did do something like that as well, but I was like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna die to this armored knight then.
So Cyberdark, meanwhile, it looks like is going with a Garanham, quote-unquote, ghetto grind, as there are the 2 treasure chests and the magic key. So just going in, taking the 2 chests, exiting the town, lather, rinse, repeat, and at least for the moment is up to 12,456 in gold. I guess it's trying to get up to the 14,008, but now is leaving the town and going after an Axe Knight. A little curious here, although it's hard to say how much further Cyberdark will go once seeing the dot done here from Brax, who is still working on the Dragon Lord, has, I believe, now 5 heal mores left. But with that rather high attack power, this should be as close to a gimme as it can get.
Oh, wow. There it goes.
And there we have it. So Brax has finished taking out the Dragon Lord, is going to make his way up the promenade here, is going to get the accolades from the king, and is going to enter the dot done, and is going to take the victory over Cyberdark here with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 17 minutes, and 33 seconds. So we're going to see if Brax can join us here in the room. So yeah, noting that with the reset that occurred about 17 minutes in, that if not for that, I mean, granted that Sylverfyre and Braxis were not facing each other, they had separate opponents, but that would have been a very close race as to the 2 of them finishing. But it's hard to say. So we did get a, as noted in chat here, a GG from Cyberdark in the IRC room here, the chat room, and well, looks like at this point Cyberdark might be kind of playing for pride here and not wanting to put in the forfeit and actually finish it off here, and yeah, decided that he earned the Dragon Lord kill here.
Which is very fair, and props to him for pushing through. I just felt like basically there was no point in that seed where I did not feel like I was behind. There probably wasn't a point in the seed where I wasn't behind, but...
I mean, I had exactly the same feeling going through most of that seed, so...
Yeah, so I think it was either Cantlin or the Rainbow Drop Cave was the very last thing I found, so give you an idea of...
The thing that really scared me is that right after I got Erdrick's armor is when I learned Heal More, and I was like, oh no. If somebody had either gotten that much earlier than me, or just went for the levels, then they wouldn't have had to like do the kind of slow counting job that I did through the swamps. I actually died once trying to count it out.
Okay. Yeah, wow, you counted that. That's kind of impressive.
There was a Red Dragon Guardian. I wasn't gonna wait.
Yeah, fair enough. I had, I think, a broadsword and some other... Basically, like you said, I had Heal More and all that at that point. Mm-hmm. By the time I, had found Cantlin. So I was like, all right.
I found Cantlin like not too much later after finding Cole.
Cole was actually the first town I found. So
I mean, Cole was pretty much the en route to every other part of the world. So
yeah. But I had some major issues getting anywhere beyond Cole. So
I think everyone did.
Probably fair.
Especially because a lot of the enemies floating around the world were not hurt-moreable.
Well, on the same time, on the same token there, Syl, you did have a rather nice grind going once you had gotten hurt more. You kind of spent a couple of levels in that desert
on the same
area
time,
just
or
to
on
the
the same
south
token, there,
of
Syl,
Tanagal.
you did
working
have a
on
rather
Droll
nice
Magi's
grind going
and,
once you had
rogue
gotten hurt
scorpions,
more. You kind of spent
and
a
that
couple
was
of
able to
levels
kind of propel
in
you
that
ahead
desert
as well.
area just
Oh
to
yeah,
the
I did that. That
south
was a very
of
deliberate
Tanagal.
decision. I knew that there were some, like, I knew that there were at least Droll Magi and Droll Magi in that area, and I had run into several of them. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to that area. I'm gonna like try Hurtmore, see what else is there. Hopefully, it's a good like has more than one good enemy in it. And when I saw the rogue scorpions, I'm like, this is perfect. I'm just gonna take this to like 3 more levels right now before I try to do any more exploration, because exploring this map is miserable. Especially with no healing and lots of swamps. Like, that's not something you want to just like explore without some resources behind you.
And joining us here in the commentary booth is Brax, who had, as we've noted here, certainly a great share of challenges. And despite that, I don't know, was there a bit of surprise in terms of seeing that that your opponent had not yet put in the dot done?
Yeah, I mean, I was actually at just over the hour mark. I was actually waiting for somebody to dot done, and when I didn't, I was actually really surprised as to, what was holding them up. But once I was able to actually get out and see how massive that map was, I thought if I had good exploration, that maybe I wouldn't come in last place, having to reset at, what was it, 14 minutes in.
Yes, the putting on the cursed belt, the miss menu, that was about 17 minutes in.
Yeah, as soon as I exited Tantagel for the first time and went south, and immediately found out it wasn't a Zone 0, and the wolf with Dragonlord 2 breath immediately sending me back,
Yes.
I knew I was in definitely for a wonderful seed.
Yes, I think I did something similar. I was like a step south of Tangagel. I'm like, I saw, I think, a metal scorpion, and I'm like, wait, what the heck? What is this? That's not right.
And then to make it worse, like once I decided, okay, let's go around and look. Okay, look at, we got magicians, we got scorpions. For the life of me, I couldn't find a blue slime or a red slime. Found ghost. I'm like, okay, here's something we can take, and then boom, immediately hurt more. And I struggled for the longest time to even find a mob that I could kill.
Yeah, I had a similar kind of issue with just trying to find red slimes. Like you said, I had one ghost where I critical missed it, as I like to call it. Which had it not dodged, I think it would have gotten me level 2, and I would have been able to at least try to do something from there. But as it was, I just sort of had to laugh.
I think it was about a 1 in 512 chance of that happening.
Once I found Cantlin also, and I saw that the coordinates weren't like, I mean, they were kind of messed up, but they weren't nearly that bad to count. So I thought, okay, I should count these, because if nobody else counts them, maybe it'll make up time. And I was 1 square off like the whole time, and I couldn't figure it out, and I ended up wasting all that time and having to save the princess anyways.
Yeah, so by the time I found Cantlin, I had the resources where I knew I could just take out the red dragon. Like, it wasn't going to be quick, but I knew I could do it. And so I was just like, oh, that... And plus my map, my little stick figure map, as I'm fond of calling it. Like, it looked like it kind of went west before it went east. And I knew, with rivers and everything, I was just like, oh, this is not worth the effort to try to count. So, grab the princess. So I did.
Like, so, due to, like I said, the struggles I had on the early game, I mean, I didn't really want to overlevel like I did, but at the same time, if I was going to take one dive into Sharlock and my opponent hadn't that done, I did want to get to the bottom and have to outside and then lose that way. So I figured taking on the extra mobs outside and then seeing how much gold I had and doing the Garanham backdoor gold grind so I could get Silver Shield just for the extra 10 DP. I figured if I lost the race to that, then I deserved to lose. But
Well, what had occurred for Cyberdark, and this is what actually 20 minutes in, you were both even in experience at 0-0, something that we haven't really seen since the chaos modes, was Cyberdark could not find a red slime. It could not find a red slime to save his life. And about at that 19 to 20 minute mark, actually started from scratch and entered a name with a different build, and actually is going in there now with an agility MP build.
I think at some point I did consider maybe starting over and going strength agility. Or I don't even know what I was thinking at the time, but I don't know that I would have thought of agility MB, quite honestly.
Just curious, did anybody besides myself ask for a reseed during that first like 10 minutes?
I did not, but I heavily considered it.
I didn't really consider it.
Okay. Well, that makes me feel good anyway. You weren't here when I was mentioning this, but yeah, I thought about asking for a reseed. I seriously thought about just not quitting like 15 or 20 minutes in. I just thought, like, I don't want to deal with this. I'm done.
When I accidentally missed, and it wasn't so much a miss menu as when I went to open the menu to use torch, my A button stuck down, so the first thing up there was a curse belt, so it immediately put it on, and I think you said there was 18 minutes in. I considered just dot quitting at that point, but I chose not to. I chose to just restart and make the best of it.
And make the best of it you did, as that put you into the victor here, and that moves both Brax and Sylverfyre into the 2-1 grouping, and has you just one win away from qualifying for the bracket stage here in the tournament.
Yeah,
that also means some fierce competition, to say the least.
Yes. As for me, I just hope the next seed has an easier start than this one, because yeesh.
I feel like I specialize in miserable starts.
Well, as I mentioned, I certainly do not, so.
I feel like, for me, like, I've done a ton of practice races throughout the week, just non-SRL, just, checking them out, and I seem to do way better if you have, like, Charlock to be completely miserable, only for the fact that you can kind of make adjustments to that, whereas if you're right out of Tanticle at level 1 and you're repeatedly dying, it's really hard to make an adjustment, to that right at the start.
Yeah, that was probably another part of my issue, too, is my inability to, when you get a difficult start like that, the inability to just kind of pick a strategy and commit to it, Like, I was a little too slow, I think, to realize, okay, this is, this is going to be one of those seeds where I just have to sit by Tanagel and grind up to level 6 or 7 or whatever. I was kind of stubborn trying to get through Swamp Cave a couple times, probably more than I should have. Stupid specters.
I actually made a couple attempts to Swamp Cave too, mostly after I had sleep. Can you not sleep Druid Lords, by the way? Or are they very resistant to sleep, or just medium resistant?
Druid Lords on average are about a 15 out of 16 resistance to the sleep.
Okay, so they are super resistant. Stop doing that, Syl. That's a bad idea. Got it. I was like, oh yeah, I'll just sleep enemies to run away from them. That'll work, right? Not knowing, like, I know the end game enemies, like which ones you can sleep and which ones you can't. Like, you can sleep Magic Wyverns, you can sleep Stonemen. I don't know anything in those, that 40 to 70 XP range, like what you can sleep and what you can't.
Right, yeah.
And Cyberdark has just taken out the Dragon Lord, albeit missing the Swagmore cast.
Did not get the hashtag YOLO swag overload, unfortunately. But I appreciate the attempt.
Well, not everybody can be Mr. Holmes, who hit it on that. That was amazing. But yes, get out your GGs for Cyberdark86, who has finished with a rather gallant effort and an official SRL time of 2 hours, 31 minutes, and 18 seconds. So we will see if Cyberdark wants to join us for a brief interview here, and then we're going to just about wrap things up here for Randomania 2, but fret not. The action's still continuing here. In a matter of moments, we are going to make our way over to Randomania 3 for the matchup between Will Wagner Music and Jay Coper. And we have Cyberdark in the waiting room. So Emptyeye and Cyberdark both going to 1 and 2, but the record not necessarily reflecting the talent, as there are a lot of talented racers who are in that 1 and 2 slot. I mean, it's one of those things where just a couple of things don't necessarily fall your way, and I mean, looking at it here, it is very tough here. I mean, well, it's just tough across the board here as I'm looking, but Cyberdark. GG, and I mean, certainly a gallant effort for finishing after the challenging, rough start that you had. As you had said, I think it was 23 minutes to find a red slime in the beginning.
Yeah, that's about it. 23 and a half, something like that.
Well, you'll be glad to know that about 20 minutes in, it was actually back to 0-0 in terms of experience, as Brax had gotten over past the swamp cave to the other side, got the torch in the Stones of Sunlight cave, went to use said torch in the cave that would be the tablet cave that had access to the magic key, and the A button stuck when opening the item menu, and the first thing that was on there was a cursed belt, and he ended up putting on the cursed belt and had to reset at about 17 minutes in and had to start from scratch.
I think I had that on at 1.2. At the beginning, I got so fed up with it, I accidentally just pushed A on it and said, oh well, I guess I'll reset again.
Well, early on, the resets were coming so fast and furious, I think it kind of blended in with everything, as the deaths were, the death counter was certainly a challenge for our trackers, Smashy and Fury SK.
Yeah, I definitely had my share of resets early on before I realized, okay, there is not a town anywhere here. I should probably stop trying to save that gold, because it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I didn't see any point in keeping the gold after a while, but everything had hurt more, or fire breath, or sleep, or nah.
It certainly presented its share of challenges here. Yeah, the our restreamer Tilo noting that the 43 on your screen there is actually the overflow from the 65-535 plus the 43. So
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I had a similar experience, definitely. I'm actually kind of surprised it was only 38 for me. So.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there could very well be those could be underwhelming totals. It was probably more than that. It was just, again, they were happening so frequently between all four screens, it was hard for our trackers to keep track of it continuously.
Yeah, fair. I mean, 38, that's still about, what, a death every probably 4 minutes? So.
Yeah, and that's after the seed kind of opened up with Hurtmore at level 8.
Yes, that's also true. Though I still had my fair share of deaths afterwards, certainly not as many as before, of course. Yeah, that seed never really got much easier. Or just, if it wasn't enemies, it was swamp everywhere. Like, You know, like Silver said earlier, you know, that's not something you want to try and go through without resources or at least a plan. There was one point where I actually got a metal slime kill, but the metal slime took me down to 1 hit point, which meant I couldn't take the 3 steps through the swamp to get to coal at that point. So I was like, well, okay, I guess I'm just gonna die out here, not quite in the swamp. Great.
There were metal slimes?
There were. I found a number of them. I think I only killed 1, but they were there. They had hurt.
Yay. Well, at least I got to rip the agility MP build.
Yes. I'm not sure I've ever seen that build kind of intentionally in a DWR tournament, so.
Well, I went strength agility, which is what I usually do, and for 23 minutes, all I could find were ghosts and scorpions and magicians, and it was useless. So I figured, okay, I'll try to get something with a bit more strength. Went agility MP, and the first enemy I found was red slime.
Of course. I had something vaguely similar happen where I was at, I think, 591 or something experience. Bought a copper sword in coal. The next enemy I killed got me over 600 experience, which is level 8, which was hurt more. And just watch the restream back for my reaction to that, is all I'll say.
I think I kept the copper sword too until I got Erdrick's sword.
Oh man. All right. Well, I have to work in the morning, so I'm going to head out and start getting ready for bed here. But thank you to everybody behind the scenes, and you know, GG everybody. Congrats on actually finishing, which was more than I had the will to do. So hopefully the next one's a little easier.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
GG Emptyeye and GG Brexis as well.
GG to all you guys too. Thank you.
Yeah, this certainly has been, while it's been an arduous climb, it certainly has been an entertaining one. Make sure to give our 4 runners a follow here, as they certainly gave you a heck of a show here this evening in Sylverfyre, Emptyeye, Brexis, and Cyberdark. And make sure to show some love to the folks behind the scenes here, helping get the production and everything together to be able to bring this to you here on Randomania 2. Our restreamer and also part commentator as well, Tilo. Our trackers, Fury SK, and tracker and brief commentator as well, Smashy, as well as Ursine and myself, FearonBurgundy, as we've hopefully entertained you here on Randomania 2 this evening. And don't forget, if you liked what you saw here and wanted to give the game a go yourself, I'm going to put the link up in the Twitch chat so you can download the Dragon Warrior Randomizer yourself, as well as the link to the Dragon Warrior Randomizer Discord so you can find out some tips and tricks and race against some of the other runners and work on honing your skills. And who knows, maybe we'll be commentating about your play here in the 2020 tournament. Certainly possible. Well, for all of those behind the scenes, for my plethora of co-commentators, Tilo, Smashy, Ursine, as well as all the other folks behind the scenes, I'm FearonBurgundy, saying until next time, may your moves be excellent and your seeds stay classy. We're now going to take you on over to Randomania 3 with a race already in progress between Will Wagner Music and Jay Coper. Good night, everyone.